My friends, good morning, red and black greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're new, please follow, like, and share everywhere. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, enable notifications with the bell, and like the video. Let's go. I'm going to start here by talking about the situation regarding Hendrick's return to Brazilian soccer, the possible return of Hendrick to Brazilian soccer. We have, Hendrick in a tough moment over there in Europe, right? And the news coming from Fabrizio Romano, look, the news from Fabrizio Romano is that Real Madrid will loan Hendrick out in early 2026. Then we asked, would you accept him at Flamengo? Would El Pessoa, Bob Carlton, join Flamengo? Yeah. Then Nando Real. Yes, it would be very good for him. It would be good for him, exactly. Rafael Sebi can bring Arthur Abreu. Is he better than Carlinhos? It's Lucas, F27, in the style that Felipe Luis likes to play. This kid, Hendrick, would soar. Very strong, very fast, better than Juninho. Yeah, Juninho isn't doing well at Flamengo, so according to journalist Italian Fabrizio Romano, the forward Hendrick is expected to be loaned out by Real Madrid in January. Okay, with limited playing time on the Spanish team, Hendrick wants to play more, aiming for a chance to compete in the World Cup. Hendrick is 19 years old, has played 37 games wearing the Real Madrid jersey, scored 7 goals, and provided 1 assist. Right, so he's struggling there. At 19, he's very young, but incredibly strong, right? He has a lot of quality. He has a spectacular physique, but it hasn't worked out for him there yet. They want to loan out Hendrick. Fabrizio Romano reported this, but let me share my thoughts on it. They'll want to loan him out in Europe. I hardly see them wanting to loan out Hendrick to Brazilian football, unless it's the beginning of 26 and they want Hendrick to play in the championships. The Brazilian league starts earlier. Just a reminder, okay? The Brazilian championship starts earlier in 2026. Then, yes, they might want to loan him for the Brasileirão and the state competitions so he can gain visibility and make it to the World Cup so they can increase his value and recover the investment made in Hendrick. Okay, what do you think, Flamengo fan? Should Flamengo pursue Hendrick? Some fans already agree, right? It would be a good opportunity, but even so, I still think it's very unlikely to happen in Brazilian football. And we had the former player Reynaldo, famous from Atlético Mineiro, Flamengo's big rival, right? Reynaldo. This is the most one-sided rivalry in Brazilian football history, right? Atlético Mineiro fans hate Flamengo, but Reynaldo was a great rival, a great striker, and Reynaldo gave an interview to Luis Penido, to Rafa Penido. And he's another one showing the desire of players and rival teams in Brazil to play for Flamengo. That's why I mentioned Hulk earlier, and we're going to bring it up here, that Atlético even released a statement and all. But it goes for Hendrick, it goes for Hulk, it goes for all those players that Palmeiras and Atlético Mineiro fans think will never want to leave or will come back to Brazil and not think about Flamengo. Reynaldo, one of the biggest rivals, one of the players, stars of Brazilian football in the 1980s. Everyone thought he would never consider playing for Flamengo. Everyone believed he would never think about playing for Flamengo. Look at what he said. Let's listen again.
Let me ask you something. Would you have liked to play for Flamengo?
Of course, every player would like to play for Flamengo. I had that opportunity in 81, Paulo Dantas, who was the director of Flamengo, right? I almost came to Flamengo. We almost closed the deal with Flamengo. But at that time, it was still the era without the transfer law, right? We were stuck.
I wanted to play for Flamengo.
You couldn't leave. You had a contract there. You couldn't leave. And that's how it was. Atletico didn't let me. Flamengo had agreed, but Atletico refused the deal. But it would have been great if I had played for Flamengo here in Rio. I think it would have made an even bigger impact.
It lacks Flamengo's visibility. At Flamengo, everything is massive.
For sure. It would have much more visibility, right? Because back then I used to get Jornal do Esporte, Jornal do Brasil, or Jornal Globo. We'd see the front page and there it was, Flamengo.
They always want more visibility.
This big. Then I would go there to look for Atlético and Cruzeiro. A little bit would come out like this. Now, just the lineup, revenue, and goal scorer. And besides that, the press from Rio and Sao Paulo was the voice for all of Brazil, right? That's why the North and Northeast have such a big fan base. It's due to the press and its influence here.
He's already upset about the press.
From the newspaper and radio too, right? It reached people. We stayed in Minas, right among the mountains.
Would you have wanted to play for Flamengo?
Of course, of course.
He said Flamengo had a much larger audience and received more media coverage. They were trapped between the mountains in Minas. Yeah, man, what can you do, right? What can you do? So we're always bringing this up and telling you that the players, they dream of playing for Flamengo, right? They dream of playing for Flamengo. That's why we even talked about Hulk, that Hulk was mentioned on BTB Esporte, that Hulk thinks it's a possible departure from Atlético Mineiro. That Atlético Mineiro could terminate Hulk's contract, yeah. But Atlético Mineiro released a statement. An official statement. Let me get it here to see if we can find this official statement. Okay, let's go on Twitter. It's about, look, it just came out now that Anderson Talisca isn't happy. Okay? In Turkey, and he's interested in returning to Brazilian football. The attacking midfielder has a contract with Fenerbahce until June 2026 and doesn't want to stay. He was even dissatisfied with the departure of Jose Mourinho, who was the one who prevented his signing. Talisca has even confirmed that one of his dreams is to play for Corinthians. Other teams in Brazil remain options. Bahia is a strong possibility if the player returns. I had told you, right, that it was unlikely for Talisca to come to Flamengo. So Bruno Andrade says he wants to return to Brazilian football with Corinthians and Bahia as his top options, okay? Fluminense is also interested in signing Talisca. And we know he's a player with a very high salary, a millionaire salary, extremely high. I think it's very unlikely that Flamengo will try to sign him. I even spoke to a board source who said there's no possibility of Talisca. Let me talk to you about this situation. Let me bring it up. Atlético. Mineiro, Hulk's statement. Let's check if we can find it. A friend mentioned Atlético released it. It's here. Let's go. I got it. Atlético Mineiro clarifies that speculations about a possible termination of Hulk's contract at the end of the current season are unfounded. This subject has never been discussed internally. We are absolutely focused on the 2025 competitions tomorrow. Actually, it's about avoiding relegation now, right? Tomorrow, Galo will play a semi-final in an international tournament, and all the attention is focused on this big challenge. Oh, I forgot. There's the Sudamericana. You guys still have the Sudamericana to play. That's right. There's no Libertadores, no Brasileiro, no Copa do Brasil anymore, but there's the Sudamericana. That's true. And this one here, by the way, where is it? This one here, okay? It was against you guys. Look, all autographed. The little net. Look, the goal net. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? This here is the net from Plata's goal. They cut the net for me, the net from Plata's goal, okay? Galo is in a semi-final of an international tournament, drawing all the attention to this major challenge. Hulk is one of the three greatest idols in Atlético's history, deserving of all our respect and admiration. He is loved by everyone at the club and idolized by Atlético fans. We're focused on tomorrow's game. Let's go together. Look at that news from Atlético Mineiro. So denying the possible termination of Hulk's contracts. And we even talked earlier, right, about the possibilities of players on the market for 2026. Earlier in the video, we mentioned Endrick, then they discussed Talisca, and we had already talked about Hulk, that his contract would be terminated, right? But Atlético Mineiro then making it clear that they haven't thought about it so far, right? They didn't say they won't terminate, but that they haven't thought about a possible termination of Hulk's contract so far. Look, Felipe Luis will define the starting lineup today for the match against Racing, right? He coaches Flamengo at 3:30 post-meridium at Ninho do Urubu Training Center. This is the last training session before the match against Racing for the first leg of the Copa Libertadores semifinal. And we even had Rossi talking about this. This important game against Palmeiras marks a key moment for Flamengo. Now let's hear from Rossi with images from Flamengo television.
We, not just me, but everyone are happy about yesterday's win. It was a very important victory that keeps us in the race for the Brazilian Championship, which is one of our goals. And now that's behind us. We switch our focus. We have Wednesday's game, which is also very important. It's another final, a Libertadores semi-final. We know it won't be an easy game. It will be very competitive. But we count on the support of our fans. We're playing the first game at home and we keep going. We keep going because that's the work we do every day here. Today is more of a recovery day because of yesterday's game. And that's it. Start preparing for Wednesday's game, which is going to be more than important. Every game has to be like this. Every game we count on the support of our fans. To have this support like yesterday in every contested ball, every time Flamengo won, every individual duel and every ball cleared from the box. At the end we were all defending. Counting on their support was incredible and it was part of our victory at home yesterday.
So we're seeing images of Flamengo's training, and I want to share some information from Monica Alves from Coluna do Fla. She says she spoke with someone behind the scenes at Flamengo who highlighted how quickly the Colombian Jorge Carrascal adapted to the club. With just over 2 months on the team, he already has 4 assists and 1 goal in 11 matches. And according to this person, what stands out the most is his chemistry off the field. Quote, "Today, for a Spanish-speaking foreign player, adapting to Flamengo is very easy. They are already a significant part of the group. They are not the majority, but there are many of them, and that helps a lot." Among these players are Uruguayans, a Colombian, an Ecuadorian, an Argentine, a Chilean, and a Spaniard, all of whom, he says, speak the same language, and that makes integration much easier. Besides that, quote, "Several players arrive more or less at the same time. They go through the same adaptation process and end up getting closer together. The club's internal environment also contributes to this welcoming, right? The group is very easygoing, quote unquote, as Carrascal himself said in a press conference. It's a very good environment, which makes it easier to feel welcome. Hostility would make it difficult. So about the player, he said, quote, "He's cheerful, friendly, and already jokes with everyone. He's already adapted to Rio, which is a happier and sunnier city than where he was, which is Russia." To top it off, he mentioned that Flamengo is fighting for 2 important titles, which also helps with motivation. And Carrascal has won over the fans, and behind the scenes, he's also already won over the group, right? It's because he's really good, right? And I'll tell you, everything we see out there, gossip, news, and all that, I only think about one thing. This is Flamengo. When Flamengo is like this, that's when they're really champions. Just remember 2009, let's go all in if they're athletes, right? And if they're motivated and everything else, and on the field they're crushing it, that's what matters. Go all in. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Red and black greetings from Flamengo. Thanks.